In the past, we've talked, and you also do some Akashic Records readings, and you do the reflexology and a couple of other little things. So this is your evolution, and this is your path and everything. So where do you see yourself going as this starts to evolve?
Well, I sort of feel like as long as I can keep all of these balls in the air without getting smacked in the head, I will continue to do what I'm doing. The other thing that I did before I opened the store, which I'm doing again, is I'm doing a crystal gridding project where I'm taking stones out into the woods. So I'm doing that this summer, and that, of course, I'm really called to do that, so I don't want to be in the store as much. Sorry, guys. I want to be outside.
So if people were interested in that or any of the other areas, just to sort of get, that's a really good, they could call you or talk to you basically, and you know, spend a few moments and then pick some information from you up on it.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I know that you did a motorcycle journey with your husband and a group.
Yes.
You were a chase car person.
Yes.
So you were driving the vehicle,
yes.
Car vehicle or the truck vehicle. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we went down to the border of Mexico and New Mexico and went along the Continental Divide on dirt roads. We went about 800 miles, and I got to work a lot with the Continental Divide energy, and that is what my Crystal Grid project is tied to, and that was sort of the beginning of it.
Mm-hmm.
On that trip, I got to go to a lot of places that, you know, unless you're a cow, you don't get to see.
Well, one of the things I see that you picked up on your journey was a kachina. And if you could explain the kachina to us. And a kachina is basically a indigenous sort of doll designed by the Southwest Indians, the Zunis and Hopis and Navajos, and each of the kachinas basically tell a story. So tell us about your kachina that you've got.
Well, on my trip, I started off, you know, we got down into southwest Montana by Dell, Montana. We went into this little cafe, and there was this, it was home style, so you all sat at the same tables. You may not know people. And there was two rancher farmers sitting beside me, and they were talking about how Monsanto had them by the balls, excuse my French, and Simplot, the potato people, because they owned all the seed stock, and they couldn't get seeds that weren't genetically modified. I was eavesdropping, which I'm really good at.
Yes.
But I was listening to them. You know how I think things are divine, right?
Yeah.
And he's talking about how because Europe and Japan won't buy anything that's GMO, they're kind of in a hard spot. The other thing that he was talking about, how they were planting something that was Roundup ready. And I don't remember if he specified what plant, but these Roundup ready plants were coming up and then attacking each other. So those farmer ranchers down in southwest Montana are kind of in a bad spot right now because of the GMOs. And so the whole trip I was focused on food availability of fresh food, you know, the GMO thing, and what's happening in the heartland of our country with our, like the people who are tied to the land through growing food and raising cattle. That was the big thing. And so as I head down to New Mexico, it's on my mind, and the less populated it became, the less quality of food there was. You know, it makes me really grateful for all the people that are growing food here. You know?
Right.
So we get down there, and it's dry, and it's arid, and we're in places where the only life we see are cattle, and those cattle are really skinny. So it made I started feeling sorry for the cows.
You feel proud, you're sort of proud when you see a cow around here,
well,
right?
Because, you know, our cows are so well fed.
Right.
And so as we were traveling, what I saw a lot of towns that were dying. And in those towns where we try to eat, there was no fresh food. The only fresh food we had was like iceberg lettuce. And theoretically, there's no nutritional value in iceberg lettuce. So my mind was really focused on it. And then I had a vision of this star being came to me. And he was talking to me about food and what, how I'd always talk to them. And I doubted it. I said, I'm making stuff up again. And so I said, if that was real, show me a sign. And so I'm driving, following these motorcycles.
Right.
And I hear Kachina. I'm going, Kachina? And I kind of knew what a Kachina was, but I didn't really know what a Kachina was.
So you weren't really that familiar with the term before this?
No, there's a place in Big Fork that sells them, but I didn't really have any clue what they were about.
Right.
So I kind of started looking for Kachinas, and we were in places where there weren't really Kachinas.
Now the Big Fork place is Jill over at Native and Creative?
Creative and Native.
Creative and Native, okay.
So she has Kachinas, but I really didn't understand them. So I'm driving, and we're in these little places. I don't see any Kachinas. And by the time I get to Durango, which was the end of that journey for that trip, we kind of walk around Durango, and there's all of these Kachinas in Durango.
Right.
And so I'm here, and I need to buy one. So we go into this store, and there's all these Kachinas, right? And my husband's with me, and I said, I need to buy a Kachina. And what's weird is he doesn't even question it. He usually questions everything I do, right? So I'm going, ooh, I need one. I saw the ones with the buffalo horns.
Right.
And I go, oh, I need one with the buffalo horns. And then there was some standing ones with buffalo horns, and then this kneeling one. And I was really drawn to the kneeling ones, not knowing why. So I finally picked a red kneeling buffalo warrior.
Yes.
And this kneeling buffalo warrior, after I got home and looked at it, was his job is to protect the food supply.
Great omen.
Great omen. So, okay, I'm not making it up. Okay, I'm listening. I'm listening. So I brought him home, and we actually did a posture. We put ourselves in this posture. Really, really hard, powerful posture, though. It's a really powerful posture. So then another friend of mine, when I wrote about it on my Facebook, she emailed me and she said, oh, did you know that the Kachinas were star beings? So what I understand is that there was a time in the Southwest where there was famine, there was no food. And these star beings came, and they had different, I think these are more, what do they call it? A lot of them don't look quite so human, okay? But they came and they offered their gifts. And now, and depending on the season, there's dances that they do that represent different Kachinas. He's not a dancer. He is just protects his food supplies. The standing buffalo warriors were dancers. So they still use the Kachina energy now in their ceremonies. And he's here now to help us protect the food supply where we are growing food. And I don't know if I told you this before, but in the Cities of Light map, here in the northwest pie part of it, one of the prophecies is that there will be a lot of food grown here. So to me, he's here to ensure that the food that is grown here is alive and isn't GMO.
Right, great. Okay. And as far as outside of the shop and here in your travels, and you've been talking to different people, has there been anything sort of significant among other people that have come and talked to you about what seems to be happening?
Well, what I'm kind of seeing is there's like a split. And people who've kind of struggled over the last couple of years are like on path. They've worked through a lot of stuff, they're happy, they know where they're going. And then there's the opposite. Some people are really floating right now, and they have anxiety, and they're saying, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing right now?
Okay.
And I think that's part of the gifts that the stones help us with, and nature, and that's kind of what comes up in the Akashic records is what's next for me.
Great. Okay, I just want to say thank you very much from the community, and it's been great talking with you, and look forward to catching up in the future too, Velvet. Thank you.
Well,